globally, 85% of infertility is because of infections, typically the chlamydia and the gonorrhea.
Your time is up. Thank you so much.
Since I've been mentioned, I can react to what comment Chinda just
I haven't finished my point.
Remember,
let me finish my point so that my brother can.
Does the Patriotic Front know the kind of damage they have done to our economy and to our country? I do not.
The alleged abduction of Pamela Chisupa, and this case has really kept us on our toes. And as much as
nobody has been acquitted from this new dawn administration cases that have been started. There's nobody that has been acquitted. Okay.
CJ, foreplay. I'm not talking about jump and begin acting like a kangaroo. No, foreplay. Many of us as Africans, we lack this virtue. This is not there.
Yeah, the time project ku Malabo. What's about the first game toilet was Senegal. I think very tutasana underrated because even the warm up, you can see the way they are doing warm up. But munakati bora na wawina kali no.
It's actually good if you start creating competition.
Good evening, viewers. Welcome to Ubuntu Channel. My name is Himba Malambo, and with me in the studio, I have Vom Kelebai. Vom Kelebai, welcome to the program.
Good evening, Himba. Good to see you. Although I can't see you now, but maybe later. But good evening, viewers.
Thank you so much, Vom Kelebai. Let me just take this opportunity to apologize to our viewers that I'm a little bit unable to be on camera as I'm just sitting in for Chazan. So within 5 minutes, you'll be able to join us. But however, we have to continue with the program as we wait for him to get ready. I'm sorry, bear with me. I can't be on camera, but what is important is I'm here that we discuss the matters that affect our day-to-day life and also our economical and developmental issues in our country. However, we've had a lot of drama in the political arena the past 2 weeks, and it looks like this drama, it's not giving any signs of stopping anytime soon. Before I go any further, allow me to find out if Chaza is there. Chaza, are you there?
Yes, Himba, good evening. I'm right here, and I'll be joining in picture in a minute's time.
Okay, we are waiting for you. We go back to our producer and the technician. Please, can we have the clip of the first story as we wait for Chaza?
Government has justified the police blockade of the Patriotic Front PF Secretariat in Lusaka on October 30th, 2023. Former President Edgar Lungu and company failed to access the Patriotic Front Secretariat on the festive day as the area was surrounded by the police. Addressing the press, Thursday, the Minister of Home Affairs and Internal Security Jack Mwimbu said the move was aimed at preventing an imminent violent clash between the two PF camps.
Us as government, we are to be akimbo and let matters be sorted out by the two parties without providing security. We did provide security ourselves as government by ensuring that the PF Secretariat was protected. If we did not move in as police through my ministry, there would have been a bloodbath.
Mr. Mwimbu stressed that government has no involvement in the leadership wrangles that have locked the former ruling party.
And those who destroyed MMD have now moved to PF. They are part and parcel of the saga that is evolving in PF. It is therefore mischievous for anyone to start suggesting that we are the ones who are doing all the shenanigans in PF. You all know what is going on. The fight is between the two.
Meanwhile, Mr. Mwimbu has also accused some opposing political parties of deliberately committing crimes to create a notion that there is a shrinking democratic space in the country, on the contrary to what is obtaining.
Some of our colleagues in the opposition deliberately commit crimes, and when the law follows them, they cry foul that their political space is being narrowed by government. Why is it that only specific individuals are the only ones who are being followed by the law?
For Camnet TV News, Afias Kaptula, Lusaka.
Welcome, Chaza, and over to you.
Thank you so much, Himba. I greatly appreciate, and it's good to be here. Mr. Mkelewai, I hope you are doing pretty fine. And without much ado, let me invite you to be the first one to actually make a comment as regards, this clip that we are from viewing.
Thank you so much, Chaza, and thank you so much, Himba, and the viewers. Well, I think the minister said it all. We are in this mess, or rather the PF are in this mess because of what they are good at. We know most of the members that are behind all this confusion in the Patriotic Front are the people that were in that other saga, the previous saga with MMD, that was in that we were subjected to as a country, as a nation, to watch and witness. So I don't know how the government is coming in. This time around, had it not been the confusion that these guys are causing in their political party, the government wasn't going to. I mean, how is the government coming in, and where is the government? How does the government even go in, and what is their interest as a government? If anything, what these guys have to remember, the PF, if they want to make sure that they challenge this government, they have been the ones that are trying to illegitimize the elected government. The best thing they could do, the best thing they ought to do, is to unite themselves instead of giving reasons for the government to start acting or to act otherwise. If anything, the UPND government is actually enjoying the drama which is taking place in PF. The PF is busy exposing themselves and giving away reasons to challenge them, or reason to even deregister them. So it is up to them. If they are smart enough, if they are smart, they should play it simple. They should unite. Let them swallow their pride. There's too much pride. I always say, let me borrow this word, this idiom from the Bembaland. Bamukolwenga bafula, alatabucha bwangu. Bamukolwenga bafula tabwa kache bwangu. Mu PF tabwa kache bwangu, because bamukolwena bafula. Bonse, balefu yokuba president of the party. And that is where the problem is. Bela son tominwe akainde ichilema or government. Now they are even denting the three arms of government. All the three arms of government, they are now busy blaming, and that is where they are blaming them, and that's where they want to go and stake justice. They are busy calling the judiciary, denting them. They are busy denting the parliament.
Maybe just trying to answer one of the questions that you have brought forth, like why do they want to bring the government? According to what is in the public, is that when anybody, a political party and so on, they would like to have the public meeting. They need to inform the police, as it were. And it appears as though it's a permit. And when the police, says they do not have manpower to actually provide security, then a meeting cannot take place. And many other times that, such meetings have not been allowed to actually take place. And this time around, we have seen the police, in full armory, guarding, the offices there of the PF, party there, the secretariat. And they are wondering to say, how is it that this time around, they've provided even more than sufficient police, to guard the premises, unlike, a party or an organization that would like to hold a meeting. So they are saying this is a deliberate, move. They are on the side of, Mao Sampa. I think these are some of the questions that are, bringing the government into picture. Maybe you may address that as you are giving us your point.
Okay, thank you so much, Chaza. Well, it's quite sad because we haven't, you see, they thought by coming into this government, by UPND coming to government, they were going to change the laws, okay? Especially the Public Order Act would have been dealt with. But right now, as the Public Order Act has not been dealt with yet, the law is still enforceable and they are using the same law. It is not an illegal law. That law is still being utilized. So the PF, they use the same law, and now when the UPND government is using the same law, because they don't have any other laws they are going to use, even though the UPND are against the same, they are against the same law. They have been wanting, they are the ones that are in the forefront actually wanting to amend this Public Order Act. But what is happening, instead of these politicians, the MPs of ours, even the opposition together with the ones in ruling, instead of sitting down and table these matters, they go and start politicizing. And now the same law that is still valid, that is still enactable, it's been enforced. So what are they going to do? What are they going to do? Because this is the law that this government is using, even though they are against this law. But what else should they? Should they start taking the law into their own hands, creating their own laws in their head, like the PF used to? I don't think so. So they cannot come today and point a finger at this government and say, because you have been claiming that you want to change this Public Order Act. Yes, it is on the way. But when has these people, politicians, these members of parliament, ever brought out these issues that are in, or the lacunas in the same law in parliament? Instead, you see politicians, you see parliamentarians throwing tantrums, attacking the institutions that has the power. And when attacking them, that's where they go and they start claiming for justice. At the same time, they are busy spitting onto the same institution. These are human beings too. They also want to show their muscle. So at the end of the day, it is them who created this problem. So if they are very clever enough, they should simply sit down in parliament and fix these laws. This Public Order Act, UPND is going to use it just the way the PF used it. So I don't know, and we know very well that the UPF a non-violent party. We know them that they are very violent. And when they start crashing, you saw for yourselves how they behave. Even in parliament, even now, if parliamentarians, member of parliament, that are dressed up with that respect under the parliament behave like that, what about the cadres? You know what it is. So the government has information to come out and provide proper security, because they don't want this country to venture into chaos or into ungovernable. So what the government did is within their law, within their mandate. So maybe for now, let me stop there. Otherwise, they are fighting a losing battle. They should first of all fix their problems. They've created these problems themselves. So let them fix it. They
all right, Mr. Mkolai, thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Thank you so much. We do appreciate that. And Himba, welcome back. And it's good to actually, have you in picture. It's actually your turn to give us, what you feel about, this clip that we are from taking a look at.
Thank you, Chaza Natotela. And once more, let me have the opportunity also to say good evening to the viewers. And I would also want to hear their point of view on these issues that are happening in our country. Chaza, you know what? If we are honest with ourselves, for me, I'm actually very grateful to the PF. All that equipment for the police, because that equipment, remember, it came shortly before the elections. So our PF Bali Bomba, we are so grateful. For security reasons, they brought in those things to protect us, the Zambian people. But it doesn't mean that when they brought in those equipments, they will not be used to protect the Zambian citizen against them. One. Secondly, we all know where PF, they are inseparable with violence. Where PF is, even violence is found. So basically, we are still coming to that background. PF opo bali insel opo shili, violence opo ili, ama pangas, ama gun fence opo fili. And if you hear even their language, their leaders, when they stand to speak, all the PF members, can you stand up, you protect, you fight for your party? So basically, this is a language that inciting in one way or another. And when the government comes in to protect and to maintain law and order, they shouldn't be crying foul. Because today mfuelo balelanda, today mfamashu bale mfya, tulaba swila, tibanvela vela kamba. And our ears are on the ground. And at this moment, for me, I wouldn't want to lose any Zambian people to political violence. Especially a young person to die because of political violence. Hell no, Chaza. So if the government needs to even kula alonda kuja PF secretariat until the PF are able to sort out these problems, let the government do so. And it is very difficult because at this moment, the PF, they've not even realized that the problem they are having, it's indoors. So the problem is solving. And as Kileba has said that mu PF there are too many cobras. All up they are pretending, but there's one clip I saw where the other leader was telling, I'm the SG, move that side, move. But in front of the camera. So they are putting up this makeup to tell us that they're a peaceful party. But behind them, there's more. And they know where this problem is, and they will not be able to sort it out because they are not accepting the problem yabo. They are busy throwing guns. The president of Zambia, they are busy, but they are forgetting the problem. And however, they should be very careful. This is the time when they need to use their brain. We, the voters, na tuleko kula votela on character assassination. Even in nyimbo twalileko kuvotele nyimbo nomba. Ati pantu baimba yalila chadila to dance to that song. And thereafter we vote rightfully. So they should be very careful. We are no longer the old voters they used to manipulate, vampela handouts. It will not work. It's just that PF tabasambili la chaza. If what happened in Kabushi in Ndola
it was a lesson to them. By now, they would have been using their brain. They would have gone back to the drawing board. You remember in Kabushi, they used the arrogance. They were told, Honorable Bowman Chisambo, he doesn't qualify to stand. They told him, you can't stay in Parliament. He pushed himself. What happened? Where are they? So that should have been a learning lesson. It should have been a learning curve. By now, they would have gone back to the drawing board. Last time we were beaten. Can we now go back and use tactics? So arrogance will not work. The police are there. If the Zambian people apply for theft, and they are even struggling to understand this, because we cried for this. Personally, I wanted it where I would see the police protecting the opposition leaders, the opposition people. I really wanted it. I was even asking, protect the ruling party, the opposition. All I would say is that we don't just want to see this PF. Political leaders, they should be protected against violence. The police should be there to protect them. But PF, because them, they denied the Zambian people their constitutional right. This is what we wanted. I wanted this, and I want all the political opposition leaders to be protected and respected. I submit.
Right on. Thank you so much. That is, Himba's opinion, and Mr. Mkelewa has given his. And those of you that are following the program, you can actually get to do so and make known your views that you hold as regards, the news items that we are giving you right here. And from, the comments so far, we are actually having Lawrence Mulungu, who's actually, saying they should make a timetable on which days each faction goes to the secretariat. Vamaos can go Kuseni, Valungu, Muzuba. So he's saying that it is probably a suggestion that they should share the secretariat. One can be going in the morning and one working in the afternoon shift. That is according to Lawrence Mulungu there. Lawrence, thank you so much. We do appreciate. This is our Ubuntu channel, and we are giving you the program called My Point of View. Let us take a look at the next clip, then we get to see you on the other side.
Following media reports that government is secretly amending the current constitution, Chief Government spokesperson Cornelius Muitwa used his appearance on Sun FM and TV in Ndola to set the record clear.
Allegations that there are constitutional amendments that are being secretly undertaken in order to mutilate the constitution, in order to amend the constitution and bring about an extension of term limit to 7 years or any other number of years, are unfounded. We are aware and alive to the political machinations being mooted, targeting the clergy to be used as a front-runner voice to speak against this government, to speak against this president.
After the program, Sun FM staff took minister through the escape route used by the current president when PF cadres ambushed him.
I believe that the security there would not allow the commotion that was taking place here because of the sensitivity of that place. And that's how the motor vehicle, escape vehicle, that was organized, parked down there, and that's what took His Excellency the President safely away from here while the thugs thought he was still here.
Mr. Muitwa has assured that government would do everything possible to ensure the country does not go back to an era of violence.
Is this what they are talking about? That again, Zambia should be taken back to the violence and thoughts in the history of this country? No. We are going to do everything reasonably possible and lawful to ensure that we deliver to the expectations of the people of Zambia so that PF and their thuggery and vulgarity can be kept at bay.
Mary Chola for Zanis in Ndola.
There we have it, a reaction there from, some sentiments that were coming from, some clergy and others that, there's some hidden agenda as regards, the amendment of the constitution and so on and so forth, allegations laid, against the government. Your reaction this time around, we start, with yourself, Himba. What's your viewpoint as regards, this issue?
This agenda, Chaza, the agenda which are being pushed by our political leaders, especially from the opposition, I think yabantu barya abashita abantu abatutu bantu abashibelenga, people don't understand. They don't even have the interest. Yeah, kulanda pupa, to follow what the constitution says, what the laws of Zambia says. That's where the problem is. Because basically, we know that a constitution, for a constitution to be changed in Zambia, there's a process. We know all the steps that are supposed to be done. And one person can't just wake up in the morning and say, "Leon defo change constitution." Ababe nabale pushing a such agenda. They've been in I'm actually very shocked. They've been in the ruling party. They know what it takes. They know the steps to take to change the constitution. They know whatever is. So for them to say Ntungrushi, I mean, Olokumona feel kateka that balefo change constitution, I mean, what are they up to? Are these leaders who really love Zambia? Are these leaders who want to see the best for our country, or all they want to see is to see that our country is really like it's a I don't know whether it's a death trap they are setting for us. I don't know where they want to see our country, these leaders. For me, what I'm seeing, they are using methods to make this country to be ungoverned in a wrong way. Because I think their main objective is just to make sure that there's instability in our country. But one thing they should know is we are watching and we are listening. In an impapa, nama opposition to Gwete. Tabala ndapo na pa constitution yabo. You'd never hear to talk about their constitution. Even now, when in the biggest opposition party we have, when there are wrangles, they are not even explaining. Me, I've been listening to the radios, I've been on social media, wanting to hear one of the political leaders to come with a constitution to say, this is what our constitution says. This is what our constitution, and this has gone against our constitution by doing so. So they are not doing it. They are concentrating on character assassination. We are not interested. We want to see development in our country. We want civilization. We want to see unity. We want to see people sitting on the round table and dialogue. This character assassination, this agenda they are pushing, it's not going to work, not for our country, not for Mother Zambia. And they should understand that these millennial people we have right now, they are not backwards. Kumulu panshi. Kumulu, Kaunda, Kumulu, Lesa. It doesn't work like that. We want ideas on the table. And we know that HH's term, when it finishes, there will be another leader. And we are looking for that leader to come in. But they are not even preparing for that. They are not even preparing for that. Because if our leaders were preparing for that, Edgar Lungu was not going to be an option. If they know that continuity of leadership in Zambia has to be there, they would have been preparing, bringing in new blood to the arena. Not Chaza, constitution teti muchinje. You can't change a constitution as an individual in a twinkle of an eye. That is a very expensive venture. It needs a lot of people to be involved for that process to take place. Takwaba. People of Zambia, let's learn to read. Let's learn to follow what our constitution says. No person can change the constitution alone. I submit.
Thank you so much, Himba. We do appreciate. Mr. Mkelewai, your take on this one.
Thank you so much, Chaza. And that was very well articulated, Himba. That was wonderful. My view over this issue of this priest or the father, for him to come up with such kind of sentiments that are unfound without any proof and evidence whatsoever. You see, I don't understand that you are a clergyman. You're a clergyman and you go out there and start spreading innuendos or rumors, and then you start, and then you are the custodian of the so-called truth and love and holiness. Seriously, would we start believing you in whatever you say when you just start acting on innuendos and you make them as though they are facts? I don't know how we Zambians, how long we are going to be subjected to all this kind of lies, propaganda, and rumor, tabloids. You know, it is not okay. That's not news. That's why we are misleading ourselves. Instead of following, making follow-ups, even investigative journalism, we see the way our journalists are reporting cases. They act on simple rumor, hearsay, and try to make it as though it is the fact. They have done their own fact checking, and they have come out and they come to the media. I think I really do hope that this new Dawn government is going to come up with the laws that are going to make sure that we punish those people who are spreading falsehood, hearsay, rumors, without taking facts, without any proper facts, should be taken to task or be prosecuted, or they should criminalize this, because they are going to lure people in believing that things, what they're saying, because it's coming from a priest, it is true. It's the gospel truth. When it's not, what evidence does Father Mpundu, whatever you call it, what's his name again? What evidence does he have that he can show that UPND government is busy trying to tamper with the constitution of Zambia? And we're talking about the tenure of office, rather to extend the office of the president for 7 years. Come on, guys. PF tried to maneuver with the whatever, but what happened? They brought the matter straight into court of law. The Butane, you know, every Zambian knows about Butane issue. It was challenged. It came in the open. There's no way you can come up with any law behind backdoor method. There's nothing. It will all come back. So if the father, the priest, would come up with with such kind of innuendos and spreading such we want to call this is the man of God. Honestly, should we start doubting? Because I believe I'll start now doubting, questioning every word that is coming out of a priest. So we should not dwell on rumors. No conclude obufi, because if we're Zambian to alitemasa no conclude. If in tutakwete na evidence, you are busy on social media. And I don't know why all these cases for defamation, cases of falsehood, or cases of lies, why they are not coming forth in court of law. I think we have to request the judiciary, the judges, the magistrates, the local court justices to please give stiffer punishments on liars. Liars can dupe the nation into unrest or into civil strife. So it is better. We should give stiff punishment. This priest, if he was caught on the social media or in the media, and it's now public, the whole country knows about it, or the whole world, it is coming from a priest or a bishop. If it is discovered that it's not true, let this bishop be punished for spreading falsehood or rumors or lies. There's too much lies in this country. Zambia, you are a Christian nation, but you are liars at the end of the day. We are all liars, including the bishops, the people that are supposed to be custodian of truth, the moral code, but they are busy spreading, they're involved. That's why we tell the priests or the bishop, the churches, put out, get out of politics, stick to the Bible. Stick to the Bible, interpret the Bible, control, bring those lost souls, Venelungu, Vene Vene whoever, those guys who are busy, committing, the things that you think they are committing a crime, bring them to the table. give them some holy words, communicate to them, save them, make them repent, especially for the transgression that he made during his tenure. And the one more HH, don't go into this, or else you will also be considered, So bring these people together. This is your role as priests, the custodian of truth, honest and incorruptible, fairness, and God-fearing, whatever, whether God-fearing or God-loving, whichever is applicable to everyone. These are the things that the priests, the bishops should bring to the table. Not to be involved in such politics and start spreading rumors or being side with other political parties, whether the government or opposition. It doesn't work like that. You are a priest, you are a bishop, be neutral. Speak the truth. Invoke your truth from the Bible. Don't start politicizing, bringing politics into Christianity. You are destroying the nation. We don't want to have problems in our country. We love our country. The moment you mix politics and religion, then you are the ones that are going to create a lot of havoc. Because there are certain people now who are busy avoiding Christianity or religion. So please bring the truth to this country. Zambia needs to be saved. We are too much into rumors, gossiping, innuendos. Stop it, Vane. You are destroying our future generation, our children. They're becoming liars because they're getting it from you, the politicians, the priest. Everything is confusing. So stop it. That's what I can say for now. They should stop it and be the custodian of moral code, the moral standard, the beautiful moral standard in the world. Not if you are getting involved in politics, lying. Where is the evidence? Show us the evidence. Don't just open your mouth just because you're a bishop. Shut it. My apologies. Otherwise, that's what I can say for now.
All right, thank you so much, Mr. Mkelevai. We greatly appreciate that's a reaction, from Mr. Mkelevai there as regards sentiments that came from, Emeritus Archbishop Telespo Mpundu there, who is insinuating that the government is trying to secretly, get to amend the constitution and extend the tenure of office for the president to 7 years from 5 years, as it were. Your reaction, CJ, and let me just welcome you first of all to the program.
Thank you,
Chaza.
Evening, Wamkileba, evening, Himba. Thank you, Chaza. It's a pleasure to be on Point of View this evening.
Beautiful. You are definitely welcome. Go ahead and give us your viewpoint.
Yeah. Well, I think Wamkileba should start Christians for HH and be the chairman. Well, getting to the matter at hand, the religious leaders, the clergy, they deal with people, and they receive these complaints every now and again. And usually when they speak, we want to believe that they are speaking of things that they hear from people. Now, when it comes to some of these political issues, I think our religious leaders need to be very careful on how they engage, because with this political landscape that we have in Zambia, especially that it is so toxic, you find they'll hear something without proper proof and everything and run with it. So I think, and I've always said this, religious leaders need to draw a line. When it comes to politics, let them not engage in the politicking, but let them raise the serious concerns that they have facts on, things that are really factual, that are affecting people, because we know that's what they do. They express views that the people that could be marginalized and the like fail to bring out. So coming to the actual issue at hand, you know, the Catholic has got a lot of influence, okay? And even when you go back time in memorial, you know, they've been part of, I would say, the democratic dispensation and a number of things that have happened in the country. And the leaders really need to, you know, be a unifying factor, unlike a gaslighting factor, because in the recent past, we've seen a lot of incidents where they seem to be agitating situations, okay? They seem to be driving a certain narrative that can bring confusion, okay? Let them be on the unifying side, on the side that is able to bring these leaders from the different political parties, put them together and be able to come up with things that are going to unify the country. Currently, we're having so many narratives. There are people that are pushing the tribalism thing, and, you know, all these other things that the civic space is shrinking, okay? Meanwhile, we are seeing people, whether it's leaders from the opposition, expressing themselves anyhow, others even insulting, okay? And all that. So let our religious leaders be able to unify the country and not add to the fire, not add to innuendos or what can I say, views that are not factual. I think let me end there. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much. We do. Let's proceed and take a look at the next.
Now, Sampa, my brother, I heard you today saying no. If Lungu has to come back as president of the party, he should apply. Then we'll consider his application. Let's learn to be sincere, Miles. Zambians, in case you don't know, I was not in that central committee that sat when President Lungu brought his resignation. Mao Sampa was in that meeting. And I have seen the minutes. And I have been told that it was unanimously resolved that the resignation of Lungu was rejected by the Central Committee, where even Mao Sampa was. And he knows this. I saw the minutes today, where the Central Committee said, no, we are not accepting your resignation, but to accept you to go on leave until you come and hand over to the incoming president. Which simply means he never resigned. And you, the people, Mao Sampa included, the entire Central Committee, rejected his resignation. And I'm told even people were even crying in that meeting. And one of the people who also shed tears was Mao Sampa in pursuing President Lungu not to resign. So please, let's be sincere. Mao Sampa, meeting, no, we have rejected your resignation, but we are allowing you to go on an indefinite leave until you come and hand over. Now, if somebody was on an indefinite leave and he comes back and say, no, I have come back because you rejected my resignation, why should you today turn around and say, no, he has to apply? Apply to you, Mouse. Are you sure, my brother? Apply to you. Nawangona. Kashinga ni wangona badia. Nabachama America. Elo naba Mr. Ground. Ebo balungu wakachiteko apply. Come on, ma jokes ayo. Fisele bani. Fisele. I don't want to be sarcastic, but kwaliwo omuntu muli mukiro kya Lowland tuko kutumpa. I think kulale Land kutumpa te kutumpa euku. Umwana munganda isa imadi ne wiso. So ba dad ufumale omulenzi that dad nena kula mitatu mwana. Maozi lekef sela, my brother. Come back to your senses. It's never too late. Come back to your senses. Lekef. Once I was to celebrate, it will end in tears, my brother. It will end in tears. Stop it. And come back to your senses.
Very funny indeed. You know, it's got some elements that would definitely get to make you laugh. That as a child, you stand up and say, I am the father. You are telling your father. And you are saying to your father that you be now the child. Okay, let's have reactions, you know, from, you know, that piece that we are from, you know, taking a look at. Let me start with you, Mr. Mkelebai.
Thank you so much, Chaza. It is quite it's quite sad to see people misleading themselves, and you are misleading yourselves with all these idioms. You see, that's why I am very careful with these Bemba idioms or any local language idioms. Sometimes they just end up misleading you, and they are repugnant to natural justice, and they don't even tarry with what you are trying to say. Because when you start bringing such kind of idiom, like a father turning into a child and a child a, and at the same time, you have the Bemba idioms that say my own papa, nainenkaku papa. So you find there are a lot of conflicts if we are to bring what Chimbakambwiri was trying to say. But anyway, we know how these guys operate, okay? We know how they think. We know what they'll say. They always want to demean. They always want to negate and put down somebody they are not in agreeable with. Lungu, you cannot force or reject a resignation. By the way, that's law. A person can tender in his resignation, no matter how you may try to persuade that person. No, because you cannot, unless the court, the judge decides otherwise, reverse your decision, okay? Only the court can simply say, you can't resign because there's a law that state, and the judge will always refer to a provision of the law. In this case, Lungu, President Edgar Changwa Lungu, former President Edgar Changwa Lungu, willingly, without being coerced, without being forced, tendered in his resignation later. Okay? Despite all the cry from Benelu Sambo, even according to Chishimba Kambwiri, claiming that even Mao Sampa cried at one point. Well, you can cry all you want, but that cannot change the decision and the legal enforcement, the legal energy or the law of the person that has decided to terminate the contract. Lungu, you know, when a person decides to terminate a contract on their own accord, it is called resignation, okay? And any reason that is going to be put in any termination of the contract, this is where you're going to use the word resignation, or had Lungu come in to say, look guys, I'm sick, I'm unwell, I can't continue with this work. Therefore, with the advice from the doctors, I am leaving this presidency. Then that termination is a termination, but it will be termination based on medical ground. So meaning Mr. Lungu would have been perceived to have retired on medical ground. But in this case, excuse me, now it's choking me. Lungu are choking me. Sorry, my apologies for that. If Lungu came up with another reason, if he put any reason to say, look, this party is not going anywhere. I don't have any future in this party. I therefore decide to resign. I'm terminating this contract. You know, we will know that this man decided to what? We just terminate the contract. And his reason, it is the one that we are going to use for explaining the type of termination of the contract. This man had a contract for 5 years. He had a contract for 5 years. Unfortunately, he decided to cut this 5-year contract short he gave his own reasons, and he has been even receiving some terminal benefits, meaning he used the word retirement. He ought to have used the word nafilwa. Maybe that way we could have but otherwise, the facts and the legitimate call is that Edgar Changwa Lungu resigned from PF, from being a president. That's why we have Vene Ruvinda. Today we have now Vene Mao Sampa. It's because Edgar Changwa Lungu resigned, terminated his contract. The 5-year contract was terminated by himself, despite the cry from the MCCs. So on that aspect, Lungu, his point, his claims, his cry today falls down. Let him go to court. Let them go to court and ask for the interpretation, because they are busy confusing themselves. This is the president, remember, that advised the ministers to sit in the office even when their contractual obligations were terminated by Parliament dissolving. But this president, I believe Olungu failed labor law. It's not that all the lawyers understand labor laws. You know, what he ought to have done is to go back to the drawing board and go through labor laws, because he has to understand what does resignation entails, what does retirement entails, what does that mean, whether they accepted or not. Wolungu terminated his contract. That's the fact. So Chimbakambwili has no legal claim whatsoever. This is coming from me. But now, if he wants to argue, let him go to court and listen to the learned judges. If they want, let them go to the Constitutional Court and ask for interpretation on Lungu's resignation. I believe, I promise you, they will cry and they'll start crying that this government is interfering. That's the problem with this PF. Their problems want to smear their problems to everyone that they are against with. Unfortunately, it will never go their way. We know the truth, and the truth is going to set Zambia free. Their problems is not our problems. It's their PF problems. But with the law, it is clear. Lungu resigned. He terminated the contract, the 5-year contract. So that's the end of the story. When he comes back, well, let him put up a claim. Let him apply. So Sampa is not a lawyer, but at least he knows what he's talking about. We're not supporting Sampa because we want to humiliate PF. No. Sampa knows very well his right. And that's why even them, the PF, they are scared because of Sampa knowing his own rights. And they don't want that. Let me end there.
Right. Thank you so much, Mr. Mkelewai. We greatly appreciate that. And the question is, after tendering in his resignation, did he withdraw the resignation? And if so, the expected steps, were they taken for him to be considered, a member of the PF. If not, then there's somebody that said he needs to start from the wards. Then he starts rising through the ranks, as it were. Let me invite you, CJ, to give us your reaction as regards this issue.
Thank you, Chaza. We've been subjected to this drama in the PF for the past week or so. And anyway, we have our go-go's and popcorns and juice by the side, watching as things are unfolding. But the sooner that they, really sit down and address the real issues, the better. Because we've been seeing a situation where they are pointing fingers at everyone. They are pointing fingers at the judge, pointing fingers at the government, pointing fingers at UPND, pointing fingers at the speaker, pointing fingers at everyone. Okay? They really need to sit down and address the problem, because this thing, it started from among them. And if they had controlled it earlier, they had really addressed the real issues, it wouldn't have escalated to what it is. The issue about former President Edgar Lungu returning back and assuming or resuming the position of president, that is a tricky one, okay? Because going by their constitution, what was being said is according to their constitution, though there seems also to be an exception somewhere, okay? Their constitution says that a person who resigns, okay, has to wait for 3 years before they can be readmitted, okay? A person who resigns has to a person who resigns or has been expelled has to wait for the 3 years, okay? And then if the exception is to reapply, let me just read this part. It should be part 22 of Article 74 of the PF Constitution, okay? The exception says a person who is expelled or resigns may be readmitted into the party earlier than the expiry of the 3 years or 5-year period respectively, if on a petition of penitence by him, the president or the central committee decides to readmit him earlier. Okay, there's this provision. Maybe if they intend to ride on this one, but I have certain questions. Which carries more weight, the government or the party? Because the former president lodged in a letter that he had quit active politics. The party is claiming they refused to accept his resignation, and as such was still their president. Does it mean he was deceiving the nation by lodging in the resignation? Meanwhile, he's still holding office and continues to run office. Okay. If I'm not sure, but I've heard something like this. Someone who has taken matters to court so that there can be a refund for the time that he was being paid. I don't know how true that is, but those could be some of the consequences, because a letter was lodged in that he had resigned. So under normal circumstances, the government is more formal than a political party, and that would be taken as a formal resignation. Just the way Wom Kireba has explained, when a person lodges in a resignation letter, you cannot force them to stay unless there is a court order or something of that nature to compel them. Otherwise, a person just lodges in the resignation and that's it. Ninshikwasira, your engagement has been terminated. Unless there are certain obligations that they need to meet before that, that's when you can compel them and probably through the courts. Otherwise, it should be a done deal. Okay. Now, let me just throw in something in terms of immunity. Going by their constitution, I think it should be possible for someone to challenge that and say, how does he jump back to be president? Because in the constitution, there's no provision for that. A person has to reapply to be admitted. Okay. So, and yes, he's former president, but the immunity relates to the period that he was in office and his actions as president. Now he's out of office, and bringing himself back into politics opens all this. You find that he will be able to be put in a dock because the immunity was for the works in his capacity as president. Right now, he's not. Anyway, there is a lot that, this drama that is going on, that it is bringing out, and we really need PF to put their house in order, because we need a strong opposition party. If they don't do things properly, they'll find themselves killing the party. And the way they've been pointing fingers at everyone was also wanakoenda, because they're even pointing fingers at people who can help them. Let me end there. Thank you.
All right, CJ, thank you so much. We do appreciate it. Imba, you've been smiling all the way. It shows that you are feeling good. Let's, hear what is making you feel good about this issue.
Chaza, mwalanjerelako in the sense that I'm going to respond in a funny way, but I don't regret, because it's in the public domain. Before I go on, or before I go further with my opinion, I want to find out. He's a darling to ECL. So now I want to find out. Which means so does it mean nomba pantu batatabasike naba bana baleko kuchumfwa na bena echo bajo. I just want to
don't you remember some of the effects of COVID? You lose sense of taste and sense of smell.
Then my second question, before I go again, I respond. Batatabasike balela ndati kana bwelela ku PF ninshi ninebo lunatic. Does it mean na baba or na baleka? Because sometimes a person has already diagnosed himself. You may be responding to this person. Meanwhile, they are still in that state. So, so I'm just responding to what he said. If I go back to PF, that
haven't you heard some reactions from people saying, don't you joke with people?
When you joke, you even tell people that on a light note, you don't just say things. You'll be using these things against them. So, okay, probably take it at however, there are things we need to react. I'm going to react based on the person who sent this message and on the other side. First and foremost, this person is delaying the message on behalf of the Patriotic Front. Is he the spokesperson for the Patriotic Front? Secondly, this person, he is nabena bali fumine PF bali bwele tatwashanga bali tampa powered level, constitutional level. We don't know how he is. So we'd also want to know in which capacity he's speaking. Is he speaking as the PF spokesperson? Is he which angle is he coming from, so that we can answer him from that angle. As far as I'm concerned, this is a person who said a lot of things in the past that hold no water, no vapor, and that are non-logical. You see, there are things he has said, a number of things, which even ukukonga tule firwa. So this is a person now today comes, there were people who were crying in that meeting to have ECL. There are two things here. We're talking of the government and at party level. Ingabena, they want to violate the party constitution. That's their own problem, but will not allow them to violate the country's constitution because we all owe our royalty to that. And this is a man who violated the constitution, who've never respected the constitution in many times when he speaks. So basically for me, even what he's saying now at Valerila Abantu, Vale Chitansha Abantu, it is for us, it's none of our business. We were not there. Viral. So that is not our issue. My point this evening is that ECL rendered his resignation to the Zambian government. I would want to hear where he withdrew. If he didn't withdraw the resignation, we have to handle him from that angle. Because one, he has already enjoyed the benefits. So at this particular time, I think to deal the issue of ECL coming into politics, we can't deal with him. Maybe a little under papat level, but if he wrote, we are all aware that he wrote to the government, he resigned. As far as I'm concerned, has ECL written to the government that he has come back into active politics? If he writes, then we'll deal with him at that level. For now, the Kenny, PF, the Kenny were fighting Ebeka because ECL, as far as we are concerned, the last time we were communicated to, he's resigned and he's been enjoying the benefits. And he's been, with a former president. So for now, I leave it there. I want to hear the day the government spokesperson, Honorable Cornelius Mwetwa, is going to say, we've received a letter from ECL confirming that he has come back into politics. For now, let's handle it that in Fiaku Party, we are not going to be cutting or to be using shortcuts just to impress one person. So for now, as it is, ECL rendered in the resignation and it ends there. We want to hear the government spokesperson telling us that he has written.
Sorry for jumping in. The government spokesperson indicated that they've withdrawn the benefits because ECL communicated verbally and publicly, and even his actions in the past few days show that he has gone back into politics.
CJ.
So it is now a fact, even without a formal written letter.
No,
his
we are
public announcement as well as his actions
as a country
can be taken as such.
No, as a country, we are not going to act on hearsay. We want to go official. Let him put it in written. So even if he's saying I'm back into politics, that is Kachaso. We want him to put
official.
it. No. You in the court of law.
Communication. There's verbal communication. And the resignation can be verbal or written.
We cannot use that verbal communication. We want to have evidence based. Oh, he said, I didn't hear myself. What are we want written?
Knowing the type of a person, the type of caliber of the PF and the Lungu. Yes, I think Himba, she's right, because he can change their mind. Already, they are refusing that he had resigned. They are refusing. They're saying he never resigned because they cried. They had their feelings were hurt when he told them that I'm resigning.
Exactly. So for me, I'm saying,
you are right.
For now,
for the government to have withdrawn and taken that move, I'm sure they've considered all the legal implications of the announcement that he made, and that's how they have taken the move of withdrawing the benefits that he's supposed to be getting as a former first president?
CJ, me, I'm waiting. The government they've withdrawn. Bali tueba tuwali mfakuli Cornelius Mwetwa, but I want him to also come up. And honestly speaking, I'm so thirsty for ECL in the political arena because I've got a lot of things I want him to answer. And we all know that the moment, he's very smart. This is game of politics. Nave Shivat, if he comes...
No, sorry. He's not.
Okay.
Sorry. Don't put words in his head.
Okay, probably he knows what he's pushing or where he wants to get, because he knows that the moment Alandati already they're saying he didn't get this. They are saying he didn't resign. He went on annual leave. Have you seen the other twisting words? They are saying he went on annual leave.
My sister, don't be misled by them. Don't be misled by them. The fact of the matter is that when he resigned, he actually terminated the contract. Because, like I said earlier, when an employee decides to resign, that's the termination. Okay? So whether you can quote, you can try to say all kind of words, he terminated the contract. And if it was the party that decided to terminate the contract, we could have said he was fired, he was dismissed, he was retired in public interest, all kind of things. But when you, as an individual, decide to stop working because of either pressure from the boss, you can call it constructive dismissal. If you decide to just get frustrated and you want to terminate the contract, you have that legal right to simply go away from that contractual obligation that you have. You can simply say, "Nafireka, I've resigned." That's the termination.
I think, for me, I still insist. I'll leave it for the lawyers, for the constitutional courts, for our courts, legal system to handle that matter. Because I really want ECL to come back into politics, because he will come into the political arena without the jacket of immunity. Because the immunity, I think, as much as the way I understand it, in my little knowledge, the moment he comes back, whatever crime is going to commit the immunity does not protect him. And I really need him in the political arena. So now, I think let the legal personnel come in, guide. Let the legal personnel take us through on this journey so that they educate the nation. We all understand what ECL is all about. If you've noticed, you should also listen from when he's speaking. He's never mentioned, he said, I can't let the party. That gave me, I'll add my own words, I'm not going to let the party, that gave me the presidential opportunity that I never campaigned for, that I never spent for, that I just came in to suffer. He didn't say, I'm not going to let the Zambian people suffer. So he knows what he's pushing. So let's handle him as he comes. Mchibe mbabatila, ukupeshe lungu, kwendamo. So tuendemo. Elo waisa walanda, tukupesha lunchi, kushtapanga, patatu. So let's special lunch and we do patatu. Thank you, Charles.
But
all right.
That letter will not come. Muzade Makwembekeza, and he will continue acting and doing whatever. That letter, don't expect it to come.
Now, CJ, ndiye peni kambati. Look, Kukabushi, they use the arrogance. They use what happened? Remember, Abena Bowman. I'm not going to go. I'll come back. Bowman, so even them, they should be careful. Even him, he should be careful. Let him be careful what he's doing. Let him be, and I don't think the UPND team or the government, they will just sit and he can't, okay, let me be specific. If he can't let the party that brought him into power to die, how is HH going to allow the person who insulted him, victimized him, ill-treated him, and tossed him center, left, right to have victory over him? You know, you just have to be logical. So it's only him, Chairman Agalu, Kulumambuzi. I submit.
All right, thank you so much. It's very interesting, and I have, I think, some comments coming from somebody following through Facebook. This one happens to be Mubanga Nasieku, who is saying, Vahimba Murichabe Buino, good analysis. Vamkeleva Muiketi le.
Tilichabe Buino and Ziko Mkwambili.
Okay, all right. And we have also seen the comment from Isaac Kanenga there. I really don't know what he means, or what, or probably if that question was meant for our platform. I really don't know. And just to wrap, you know, this issue, Himba, you have talked about, you know, ECL losing his, you know, immunity as foreseen. And probably, as it was announced in the news through the government's, you know, spokesperson, that he has lost his benefits due to the decision that he has made. He has gone public, and as a figure as he is, announcing in public, you know, is tantamount to writing an official letter, and so he's deemed to have indeed gotten back into politics, and for that reason, the government has withdrawn his, you know, benefits. And like you said, we are then anticipating that his immunity will probably be lifted off, and, you know, other benefits that he's enjoying as a former head of state. Maybe if you have any reaction, considering that there was some doubt, but this is the government's position as regards benefits and the status quo. Concerning the announcement that he made that he has gone back into politics. I can give, you know, 1 minute of each, you know, as regards this issue. Himba, Bomkelewai, CJ, any one of you?
Chaza, me, Adada, Siniva Trasita. Anything is possible with Adada. And dealing with people with Adada, you have to use your brain. And you have to be ahead of him. As we are going, I think even his agenda, he hasn't even reached his agenda. Whether we like it or not, Adada and the team, there's an agenda they are pushing. There's no way Adada, Nabe Nebachi, they from nowhere. Nabatata post newspaper, Vaikatishanya from nowhere. You know, all those. So there's agenda they are pushing. For now, you use wisdom. Let's give them enough rope to hear their agenda. And honestly speaking, I like the silence from President HH. For now, Adada, there's agenda he's pushing. You soon you hear him say, no, they are abusing the president of Zambia, the former president. No, they are, and if you and you know, even when he was standing by a victim part he's trying to bring in public. Like to get sympathy from the anyway, I leave it, but they've got an agenda they are pushing, Chaz.
All right, thank you so much. Womkelebai, anything, CJ, before we come to a close?
Oh, well, the mistake the PF cadres and their so-called MCCs or the fake PF, the illegal PF, that is of the Luvinda. Well, their mistake they are making is to think that when they are talking for their party, they are talking to the nation. If you have observed, they are busy bringing in their confusion in the party. They are busy spreading their issues to the world and claiming that they are speaking for the people, when there is just a group of minions that are supporting the so-called ex-president who has decided to come back into parliament to active politics, of which some of us we knew already his agenda, and the reason why he's not even moving, okay, when it comes to the finances, okay, these guys are already comfortable. You know, today, as the whole country, we are struggling to pay back the debt. The government, this HH government, ever since it came into power, has been struggling not to look into their own programs or their programs to run the country effectively, but they have been stressing on how to deal with this debt mountain that the PF left. This debt mountain, that money that we claim has been misappropriated, never just disappeared by name. We wekala chalo. Tasha FMP ashirasha ingira achapa firafina. The money is with them. They are still holding on to the money. Right now, that's why Lungu is not even shaken whatsoever. He's not shaken because no.
Your minute is over.
Okay, let me finish my point. Mr. Lungu is not shaken because of the finances that has been withdrawn to the government by the government. The terminal benefits, whatever, those that have been withdrawn. He's not shaken because he is loaded. Our money that we are paying back to, it is still in his possession. This government just needs to strategize and think beyond this politics and get the money back. That's what I can say for now. Let us remove his immunity. Then we will get the money.
Since he's been benefiting my benefits, well, he didn't.
That was just a scam, Mami. It was a scam.
So that was obtaining money by false pretense.
Exactly. Pretending to be homeless when you are not.
Pandora's box.
Yes. So we know. We know the tricks in the book. For Zambians.
All right. Thank you, CJ.
Thank you, Chaza. I'm very curious how all this thing is going to pan out. I don't know if it's a saga, if it's a Nigerian movie. I don't know. I'm very curious to see how it will end up with all these court cases that are, pending, one waiting for the other. But to some degree, I feel bad for ECL because I feel to some degree they are using him, okay? Though on the other hand, it feels as if it's something that probably they had planned before, or they were looking for a way of bringing him back on the stage. But all in all, PF is a big party. They should have found a way of finding someone among them apart from ECL who they can support, do the rebranding and build the party, because I don't believe that former President Edgar Lungu is the only one who is able to put the party together, who is the only one who can drive the party. No. Okay. Let them put things in order and be on the rebranding trajectory so that PF can survive. Otherwise, if they continue blaming other people and not looking at the issue, PF will be gone. I think let me end there. Thank you.
Actually, ECL is the cause of the problems they are going through in PF. He's the causer. Because the vacuum ever Nasia without a president, it needed to be filled in, and it has been filled in.
Zambia does not need PF to survive in politics. We have an MMB, we have an KBF, so we can survive. We don't need PF.
Mr. Himba, I think we are coming to the end of CJ, Himba, Mr. Mkelewai, I think our time is up. Let me give chance to actually take a look at, some of the comments that we have, through Facebook. We have Nawa Lindunda, who is actually saying, we are following Bom Mkelewai from Kwahaye. And we do have another message coming from Ask Tugru Mulukisi Namusunga, who is actually saying,
Madam Himba, you are right. And the last one is coming from Young Pesia, who is saying that I won't read it as exactly as it is. I'll edit because the language was not as friendly. But Young Pesia is saying ECAO can never challenge HH even when we were to call an early election. Thank you so much, Pesia. Thank you so much, Tugru, Nawa, Mubanga, and everybody else that has been following through Facebook, Twitter, or YouTube. We greatly appreciate. This has been My Point of View. Hosting it, my name is Chaza, right here, and on the panel, we've had Wo Mukelebai, Himba Malambo, and Chibonta Julie, CJ. Till next time, we are saying God bless you all and enjoy the rest of the weekend.